Welcome to County Report This Week. I'm Mona Vigili, and thank you for watching. We start the show this week with a gathering at a local restaurant. Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett recently visited with Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley and U.S. Labor Secretary Tom Perez at a restaurant in Montgomery County, where they made some burritos and promoted the need to raise the minimum wage across the country. My MC Media's Sonia Burke reports.
That's right, Lorna. There's no shortage of restaurants in Bethesda, and it was here where officials wanted to discuss the importance of raising the minimum wage nationally.
Good, man. Welcome home.
Governor Martin O'Malley, U.S. Secretary of Labor Tom Perez, and Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett recently visited Bolico in Bethesda to highlight the fact that the fast casual restaurant starts its employees at an hourly rate higher than minimum wage.
We start at $9. The average is $11.50.
During the lunch shift, the government officials went behind the counter at Bolico, where they rolled up their sleeves to make some burritos and some guacamole. That's where they also talked to employees about the issue of wages and benefits.
This is a great company, and this company understands that it's actually good for their business to do right by their employees.
Whether it be wages, whether it be bonuses that we provide, every single employee in this restaurant's available for a bonus. Transportation benefits that we provide, 401k match. So we look at it as what can we continue to do to improve their lives in the future.
People like Patrick, large big box companies like Costco, companies like The Gap, most recently IKEA, are demonstrating time and time again that you can do good and do well.
What we see here today is a prime reflection of the work that we've done at the state level, but also, more importantly, what the president and others are doing at the national level as it works to workers, their abilities to earn for their families.
Secretary Perez also thanked the governor and county executive for their leadership on minimum wage.
Since the president put his pedal to the metal on the minimum wage a little over a year ago, 13 states and the District of Columbia have raised their minimum wage. So many counties like Montgomery County and Prince George's County here in the nation's capital have done the same. And a recent study showed that in these states where you have seen raises in the minimum wage, you've seen job growth.
For County Report This Week, I'm Sonia Burke.
Parents of students entering 7th grade are reminded the new immunization requirements would require all incoming 7th graders to get 2 additional vaccinations. The county's Department of Health and Human Services will provide free Tdap and MCV4 vaccinations during the back-to-school fair on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The fair will be held at MCPS's Carver Educational Center in Rockville. Appointments are required and can be made online.
The county is offering many options as well, and those are free. Right now we are running small clinics at our county clinics, and on August 23rd we will have a large clinic at the Montgomery County Public Schools Back-to-School Fair.
For more information on the required vaccines, you may call 240-777-1550.
Welcome to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the next half hour, Montgomery County firefighters are warning you to stay away from frozen ponds this winter, and residents rally for the police in Rockville. But we begin in Silver Spring, where work continues on the long-awaited transit center. The Montgomery County Council heard the latest developments about repairs at the Silver Spring Transit Center this week. And as Susan Kennedy tells us, there is some good news to report. Susan?
That's right, Sonia. The County Council is back from its winter recess with a full agenda of business. And first on that list, an update on the Silver Spring Transit Center. Late April or early May. That's the latest date given for the opening of the Silver Spring Transit Center.
We went through and literally x-rayed the beams to make
Director of General Services David Dyes briefed council members on the status of the project, which includes $21 million in additional funds to get the job done.
The county appears intent on recouping these dollars from those that the county believes is responsible for the mistakes. And so my colleagues and I just have to trust that the county will aggressively recoup these dollars.
The most recent estimation for the opening of the center was fall of 2014. The deficiencies in the facility include poor quality concrete and the lack of steel supports for the hundreds of vehicles coming and going each day. Dice told us there were a number of reasons for this latest delay.
As to why we missed the weather window, again, the additional precautions that needed to be taken to make sure that the work that we were doing was not adversely affecting some of the work that had already been done.
To finish the project, the council will front the money and then sue the contractors responsible for the mistakes in hopes of recovering the funds.
I think we have no choice but to proceed. I believe it will be safe. I hope it will be open soon, but I feel the frustration that my constituents feel. I just don't think that some radical alternative is wise. I have more and more constituents saying to me, just tear it down, just forget about it. That would not be wise. That would be a colossal error, and that we must continue on the course that we're pursuing, including vigorously pursuing claims against contractors and subcontractors for their mistakes.
This is the last time I'm asking money for the remediation of this project. So we know what it's going to cost us. That's what the funds that we're asking for will address.
In Rockville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
Montgomery County Executive Isaiah Leggett held the second of 5 budget forums this week in Silver Spring. Lorna Virgili joins us with details. Lorna?
Sonia, this is the 42nd budget forum hosted by County Executive Ike Leggett since he took office 8 years ago. And once again, the Silver Spring Civic Center was packed with residents who had many questions. Executive Ike Leggett got questions and comments that ranged from affordable housing to transportation for seniors to fully funding the MCPS budget request. With a fiscal projection that faces another budget gap of $238 million, the executive faces tough decisions in preparing the FY16 operational budget.
But the problem is what I've just described. In order to close those big gaps that we've had in the past, I've had to utilize an awful lot of unattractive options. And that flexibility is simply not there. The belief that we can go back and do all of those very difficult things we've done in the past, you can only go to the well so often.
During budget preparations, the executive looks into financing and sustaining priority areas that include education, housing, public safety, and a responsive government. One of the challenges this year is the likelihood of reduction of resources from the state. Still, creating 1,000 units of affordable housing a year continues to be a top priority.
My friends and I are residents of MHP Properties, and we're here tonight to ask you to please support affordable housing by dedicating 2.5% of the property taxes and additional funds for 1,000 units of affordable housing.
That will require an additional amount of money to achieve that level of success. And given the challenge that we have here, I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm just simply saying that my intent is to try to reach that, and hopefully we can.
The topic of additional police training to address brutality came up several times during the evening.
Chief Manger talked at Monday night at our meeting, and several council members and delegates about body cameras, police body cameras. So those are the recommendations that we have right now.
There is a little bit of a legal challenge that we have to deal with at the state that we're trying to work out, but we believe that we have the authority to go forth and do it, and we're trying to work that out. So to come in phases, there will be an introductory stage dealing with some of the recruits, then the first 100 officers will hopefully get it, and then we'll gradually move to get up to that 900 or so.
The executive will present his final proposed budget to County Council on March 16th at noon. For more information on the FY16 operational budget, visit montgomerycountymd.gov/open budget. In Silver Spring, for County Report This Week, I'm Lorna Virgili.
Welcome to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the next half hour, parents testify in front of the Board of Education about school start times. And county officials announce the opening of the Thinkstitute. But we begin with new legislation introduced by the county executive that would aid the police department when it comes to combating human trafficking. At a recent news briefing, council members and law enforcement officials stood by Mr. Leggett's side as he laid out the details. Susan Kennedy reports.
The nature of human trafficking keeps changing, and we must adopt our laws to keep abreast of all of those many changes. The need to protect the lives of innocent women forced into prostitution and to punish those who would destroy the lives of those women.
This new legislation will require body works operators to apply for licenses and undergo criminal background checks. The second bill allows the county to revoke occupancy permits of unlicensed body works establishments.
This is certainly a great day for Montgomery County when it comes to putting a clear message out that we will not tolerate prostitution venues here in Montgomery County, but also that we're taking a serious stand when it comes to the victimization of women and sometimes boys that are caught up in these unfortunate situations.
The bills come just 6 months after the creation of the county's Human Trafficking Task Force. Last year, police shut down 16 body works establishments in Montgomery County. As this illegal industry flourishes in our area,
I'm Sergeant Penrod with the Montgomery County Bison Intelligence.
Officials say this law will be key in the fight to shut these businesses down.
It allows inspection. It holds the owner of the body works accountable, and that's what's important because the employees have always been held accountable. But now the owners will, one, not only be identified through the application process because that wasn't always possible, but two, they're accountable for all the actions that occur in their establishment.
The measures are expected to be on the desks of council members within the next week. If the bills pass, Montgomery will join Prince George's and the district in having laws in place to combat this growing problem. In Rockville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
Heroin-related deaths are on the rise around the state and here in Montgomery County, but there is help and hope for those struggling with this addiction.
I was shooting 5 or 6, 7 times a day. Every day's different, of course.
Meet Ronnie, a Silver Spring resident who's now in recovery at the Avery Road Treatment Center.
Well, I ended up here because I had a problem with addiction. I used heroin, and it ruined my life.
In fact, he's lucky to be alive. Like many heroin-addicted patients, he's overdosed more than once, and he knows of several heroin addicts in Montgomery County who just didn't make it.
Within the past couple months, 5 people I've known have passed away. And the dangers are very real. As far as the treatment center goes, this place saved my life absolutely 100%.
The sheer number of heroin-related admissions are significantly up at this 60-bed facility that is owned by Montgomery County.
Kids that probably started off with pain pills from somebody's closet, and they've just progressed to heroin because it's cheaper and it's very prevalent.
Most of them tend to be in their 20s that we work with. A lot of them will say you don't see an older heroin addict because they don't make it that long.
To say that we're going to have 3 times as many heroin-related deaths this year as we did 3 years ago is horrific. If we had 30 young people gunned down in the course of a year, we'd be up in arms.
Ronnie said he's speaking out because he wants to help other addicts get help. Staffers say talking about the heroin epidemic is the first step.
The word needs to get out that this is definitely an epidemic, and the treatment is available.
They can come here and get help without judgment. People are going to care about how they're doing, check in on them.
People need to know what their treatment options are.
I now attend YAP, Young Adults Alternative Program, across the street. It's an IOP, intensive outpatient program, and it's kept me clean. This is what I need to do, because I want to have a future.
You can expect to hear more about the heroin epidemic in the coming weeks as Maryland Governor Larry Hogan has said he'll declare a state of emergency to address this growing issue.